All right, so this will be my first how-to video. So I've had a lot of problems still with the flame out issues of this 17 fx350. I even sent out my ECU to go get remapped, and it made it a lot better, but I'm still having every now and then it'll like to flame out, especially seems like when it's cold. So one of the things I read was a lot of guys would say if you adjust the TPS voltage that it will help reduce, or in some guys claim that it even fixed it. Now I had a hell of a time trying to find any information on my particular bike, so I thought I'd make a video to show you guys what I did. And I did not have to buy any special tools, any special gadgets to do this. All you need is definitely a good quality voltmeter and know what you're touching. So in here we got the throttle body. Now to get to that throttle body, you will have to remove the cover. To remove the cover, you got to remove this engine bracket. Once you do that, you'll loosen the hose clamp there and on the back. You can rotate this guy to be able to remove the Phillips on these. Now the only tool you may need to buy is, you can see how I have my probe is a very small, very thin probe that is designed to go into connectors. Now I did lube it up with some dielectric grease, and do not monkey fuck that up, because then you will create issues. If you do it this way, you won't have any issues. I've been doing it for years. You will not harm the connector if you do it right. So you can see our two torque spits, and we know, okay, it is a TPS, it is adjustable, means that it's just like a vehicle. You got little gaps there. So now the middle wire is your signal. So the way TPS sensors work is it'll send out a 5-volt reference to ground. And then inside here, you got a variable resistor. That variable resistor, as you open up the throttle, will allow more and more voltage to go through. So example, 0.5 volt, 1 volt, 2 volts, 5 volts is wide open throttle. All that gets fed through our signal wire, which is gonna be the middle one. If you're not sure and want to find it for yourself, disconnect the connector, bump that starter, and lightly touch the wires. You'll see, you'll get one that's 5 volts, one that you'll get 0 volts, and the other one will show you a voltage drop reading of like a few millivolts, showing that you are on ground. So, voltmeter set the volts. Make sure you get these connected the right way. I've been stupid and made that mistake and go, oh, hey, it ain't fucking working. And it's because you're on amps, not on volts. So that's all hooked up. So now what we're gonna do is, yes, we have to bump the starter to make sure to get the voltage there. So once we bump it, okay, we're at 521 millivolts. Now, one way we can also know, okay, there, and just clicked off, that we are on the correct wire is when I bump it, as I open up the throttle, you see the voltage sweeps. Exactly what it should do. So now we can do is, you will have to go back and forth. The fancy gadgets is very convenient because you can leave it plugged in, leave your voltage supplied hooked up to it, not have to keep on bumping the starter. But I don't want to buy the tool. I got a nice voltmeter. So now what I'll do is I'll watch the TP as I just crack these loose. Do not remove them, just crack them loose and just lightly touch it until you get that voltage up to what I've heard is 640-ish millivolts. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna see how it works. Okay, so that was actually fairly easy. So one trick that I did was, once I got these loose, you don't have to move them a whole lot. I just took my flathead and tried to nicely go in there and open that up. And you can adjust it back and forth very lightly. So now let's bump that starter. See where my voltage is at. Boom, right there. So I'm gonna go ride it probably this weekend and try it out and let you guys know how it works. Okay, so up in the voltage of my signal wire of the TPS sensor did not fix my flame out issue. Going over a log today, it coming down, it still would flame out. Not every time, it only did it once. Now I may have another issue on my bike. I may have something else going on with my fuel mapping that I've already done. So it's definitely worth trying if you're having this issue on your KTM or Husky. But for my particular issue, did not work.